Welcome to CGTN special coverage of the 5th China International Import Expo. With the opening ceremony set to begin soon in Shanghai, President Xi Jinping will deliver a speech on the Hongqiao in Beijing. The 6-day expo aims to provide a platform for companies from around the world to display their products, promote their brands, and find business partners. Organizers say it reflects China's commitment to opening up. Representatives from 145 countries, regions, and international organizations will take part. More than 280 Fortune Global 500 companies and industry leaders will attend. 90% of them have participated before, and this is the first global event held by China after the conclusion of the 20th CPC National Congress. We'll bring you the latest every single day. And now let's head over to our Shanghai studio to check out what's happening there at the China International Import Expo. My colleague Zhong Shi is leading our coverage there.
Good evening from Shanghai. You're watching our special live coverage of the 5th China International Import Expo. I'm Zhong Shi. And this is the historic, iconic bund in Shanghai. You're looking at the famous skyline at Lujiazui, which has stood witness to China's economic development and ever-growing ties with the rest of the world. This year's China International Import Expo brings together more than half of the world's top 500 enterprises and industry giants. 145 countries, regions, and organizations have signed up this year. And they include countries in the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the Belt and Road Initiative, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. 8 countries, including Nicaragua and Iraq, are joining for the first time. And 284 of the world's top 500 companies from the food industry to manufacturing are expected to attend. About 90% of them, as Chuan said just now, are returning participants. There are 6 business exhibition areas for different categories like consumer goods and trades and services. And an online digital exhibition allows countries to show their products, culture, and business opportunities. The expo also has a special zone to present technological products spanning from artificial intelligence to renewable energy. All right, for more, let's check in with CGTN reporter Gao Ang at the scene there. She will cover the event over the next 6 days. Gao Ang, good evening to you. We are expecting a grand opening ceremony this evening. What more can you tell us?
Yes, Zhongshi, the preparation for the event has been in full swing. During the past few days, workers have been busy transporting different products to their booths and getting prepared to showcase their products to the audience. The 5th CIIE has seen wider participation, as you mentioned. It has attracted 145 countries, regions, and international organizations. And almost 300 industry-leading enterprises, including some of the world's top 500, will participate in the event. RCEP member countries and Belt and Road economies will take part too. So this year, the expo has also set up new areas dedicated to crop seeds and artificial intelligence. And there will also be high-level forums focusing on green transition and high-quality development and other major topics. Zhongshi.
Gao Ang, part of the reason the expo has attracted a lot of attention is that people look at the expo for key messages. The event has always sent a strong message of China continuing to open up. And President Xi Jinping has delivered speeches during previous editions to that effect during the opening ceremony. What were the highlights of his speeches in previous years?
Yes, Zhongshi. So at the opening ceremony of the first CIIE, President Xi announced that first, China will expand the China-Shanghai pilot free trade zone to include a new section. Second, launch a Science and Technology Innovation Board at the Shanghai Stock Exchange. And third, support the integrated development of the Yangtze River Delta region and make it a national strategy. So all these measures aim to capitalize on the important role of Shanghai in promoting opening up. And for the following editions, opening up remains a key word. It's very consistent with this year's event. So the 5th CIIE is the first major international expo held in China since the 20th CPC National Congress. And in his report, President Xi pointed out that China is committed to its fundamental national policy of opening up to the outside world and pursues a mutually beneficial strategy of opening up. Experts say the expo echoes this and once again demonstrates that China will open its doors wider to the rest of the world. So from my observation, this year has a new exhibition area called From Exhibitors to Investors. It's a special area for businesses to share their story of how they go beyond showcasing products to really making investments. For example, during the past 4 years, international firms in the energy and healthcare industries, they built new production centers or invested in new projects in China after attending CIIE. So I think the expo does play a big role in bringing tangible opportunities for both global and Chinese players to deepen cooperation. And the opening ceremony will start in about 20 minutes, and President Xi will deliver a speech via video at the ceremony. So we are also expecting topics such as high standard opening up to be discussed at the event. 钟师。
From exhibitors to investors, what a great message. We'll keep talking to the exhibitors to get to understand what is going on, what's on their mind, and how that process is going for them. Gao Wang, appreciate your reporting. Thank you so much. And exhibitors are busy preparing for one of the biggest events of the year. Let us now take a look inside the venue to see how things are going.
Moving around the venue, we see workers transporting products to their booths. This year, more than 280 exhibitors from around the world will be here, presenting their latest products, technology, and services. The Meta Universe is a highlight for this year's expo. Many immersive experiences are on site. Wearing lightweight headsets, one can experience badminton, gliding, surfing, shooting, and other sports. And this year's event has an artificial intelligence area with robot football matches. The latest products, the most cutting-edge technologies and services from around the world will be showcased here. Exhibitors spoke about what they hope to achieve at the expo.
The 5th CIIE, it's an important event for Pfizer. I think it's an opportunity to present actually Pfizer's strategy in China for China via 3 strategic pillars, innovation, partnership, and full commitment.
The CIIE is always the great stage for international company like Illumina, for us to demonstrate the cutting-edge technology. Comparing to 3 years ago, and our sales revenue grew over 50%.
So this is our 3rd year in participating at CIIE. And each of the previous 3 years, including this one, we've been able to introduce transcatheter valves, surgical heart valves, and critical care monitoring equipment. We continue to see a lot of the benefits from CIIE.
Moving around, we can see most exhibition booths are filled with products. People say they're ready for the biggest trade event of the year.
This is Kagyo's 5th time participating in CIIE. For now, I think the preparation is in full swing. As you can see, our products and the booths are all set in the booth. So I'm looking forward to welcome guests and customers and clients coming 1 day later.
This year, enterprises from 127 countries and regions will participate in the business exhibition sector.
This is the 5th time we are participating as a Sri Lankan group. So this year, we also have a very beautiful pavilion for the food sector, and also we have another pavilion in gem and jewelry sector. Every time we are thinking CIIE is one of the biggest platform to give us a chance to open Sri Lankan products in Chinese market. So this year also, we are ready.
Also this year, for the first time, there will be a subsection for crop seeds. 6 of the world's top 10 crop seeds companies will participate. There are also areas for low-carbon energy and environmental protection technologies, and expanded areas for incubating innovation. More than 150 startups in technology, consumer goods, medical care, and cars will be on display. Wang Qianhui, CGTN.
I'm now joined in the studio by Zhou Mi, a senior researcher at the Chinese Academy of International Trade and Economic Cooperation. Mr. Zhou, fantastic to have you in Shanghai. I want to start off with a bigger picture, the bigger context here of China's trade status. We know China is part of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. What has China done so far? Because this partnership went into effect at the beginning of this year. What has China done so far to facilitate this partnership and to benefit other participants?
I think that when we are talking about RCEP, we have to know that it is a kind of a mega free trade agreement. So it means it covers a lot of countries. So I think that for the first thing, China has fulfilled our commitments on opening our market. It is not only to reduce our tariffs, but also trying to facilitate the trade and investment. As for the investors, they are thinking a lot of things, including three most important things. The first one is the stability of the investment, and the second is the ability to make full use of the resources locally, and the third one is whether they can have a much bigger market in the future. So China is trying to cooperate with other partners to fulfill their commitment and hope.
I'm sure greater access and easier access to the Chinese market gives them a lot of reassurances at a time like this. Also, Mr. Zhou, what do you make of the broader participation at the expo this year, mentioned by a reporter just now? We're seeing more participation from countries like Iceland in Northern Europe to Djibouti in East Africa. What do you make of the more diverse representation of the participants to the expo?
Yeah. China is a very big market. We have different kind of demands from different cities or regions. So I think that all of these countries and enterprises, they are seeing the different potentials for cooperate with China. As we know that the world is suffering from a lot of challenges and uncertainty, and a lot of countries and exporters, they do not know where to export their products to. So we are providing such a kind of a platform to make them know where the demand is and trying to establish the trust system or relationship between them and us. So I think it's very important for them to come here to show what they have for the latest products and services.
Ms. Zhou, I know you're in Shanghai to attend relevant forums involved in the expo this time. Hope everything goes well for you. Thank you again for making time for us today. Appreciate it. And that is all I have now. I'll be on the expo grounds tomorrow to bring you more live coverage from there. For now, back over to Qiu Yuan in Beijing.
Thanks so much, Zhongshi. Have fun out there exploring the expo. I'm sure you're going to have a great time, and we look forward to more exciting stories from you. Thanks so much. Now, Chinese President Xi Jinping has met with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Beijing. Let's now get some details of the political and economic ties between the two countries. We can now go live to our reporters, Chen Chunying joining me in Beijing and Peter Oliver joining me in Germany. Let's start with Chunying first. Chunying, so analysts say Scholz's one-day visit seeks to bolster a vital economic relationship between the two countries. And Scholz was accompanied by top business executives during this visit. Tell us more about the delegation.
Well, thanks, Qiu Yuan. Joining Scholz is a delegation of 12 German industry titans, including the CEO of Volkswagen, BMW, Adidas, Deutsche Bank, Siemens, and chemical giant BASF. And one thing those companies have in common is that they are very much intertwined with the Chinese economy. As we know, that China has been Germany's biggest trading partner for the past 6 years, with bilateral trade value exceeding $243 billion in 2021. That's over 15% more compared to the year before. And German investment in China also hit a record high in the first half of 2022, surpassing tens of billions of euros. Well, that's according to a report by the German Institute of Economic Research. It makes up half of Europe's foreign direct investment in China, and many jobs in Europe's top economy depend directly on the relationship between the two countries. So it's no surprise that big German businesses do not want to pull back from the world's second largest economy and are absolutely looking for more opportunities in bilateral trade cooperation. And that is also the focus when it comes to Scholz's meeting with both President Xi and Premier Li Keqiang in Beijing. During the meeting, both sides have agreed on more deepened cooperation and exchanges in trade and investment. not only in traditional areas, but also in some new fields, including new energy, artificial intelligence, and digitalization, and even COVID-19 prevention and control and environmental protection. And besides its ties with Europe, during the meeting, China has also pledged to work with the entire Europe to step up coordination and cooperation in international affairs and jointly look for solutions for more global issues, including climate change, biodiversity, and food security. That's all from me. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Ruiying. Now let's head over to Peter. Now, Peter, you're live for us in Berlin. And as Ruiying just mentioned, some of the business leaders in the delegation who joined on Scholz's trip to China are from automotive industry, right? And among the car companies exhibiting at this year's expo, German car manufacturers are still as enthusiastic participants as in previous years. What can you tell us about German exhibitors this year, and what did exhibitors from Germany gain at the expo last year?
German cars are always popular in China. We've talked in the past about just how many S-Class Mercedes they were able to sell during the financial crisis. They sold more than they ever sold in their whole entire history. But what it is electric vehicles that German manufacturers are trying to sell to China at the moment, because it's the biggest market for electric vehicles in the world. Now, what we understand is Evonik Industries are about to unveil 3 new world premiere products at the expo in Shanghai. Over the coming days. They've just opened a new plant in the region there with their manufacturing lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. Now, that's the future as car manufacturers see it. It's the future here in Europe as well. And what we have is big companies that have been on that plane to Beijing, along with Olaf Scholz, the likes of BASF, that are already heavily invested in China, that are also involved in these industries and in these type of chains as well, because it is all interlinked, even though we may be thousands of kilometers apart. I mentioned those batteries that are being manufactured in a factory near Shanghai. Now, BASF, that has $10 billion worth of investment in a plastics factory in Guangdong province that just opened a few months ago, also has a brand new factory just opening not so far away from where I'm talking to you from, here in Berlin, in the state of Brandenburg. Now, that factory will actually take batteries from electronic vehicles once they've ended their working life and recycle them. So ultimately what we may end up seeing is vehicle batteries that have been manufactured at a factory in Shanghai, eventually being driven on roads across Europe and ultimately being recycled at a factory just near to the German capital, Berlin, because that is how integrated all of these systems are. It's why these companies are meeting at expos like we're seeing in Shanghai. We are also seeing the giant steel manufacturer ThyssenKrupp represented there for the first time. Now, the reason they are there and the reason it's exciting to see them there is because they're there to talk about reducing the amount of carbon from that industry. To decarbonize the steel industry is the goal, because you can't build without steel. You can try, but it won't really work. And steel and concrete, well, they're responsible for 14% of all global carbon emissions. And if you can try and reduce the amount of carbon that's produced, well, that would go a huge way to meeting climate targets. And when it comes to cooperation between Germany and China, one of the key areas that both President Xi and Chancellor Scholz have all said that they can work together on is when it comes to climate change. These are areas that China and Germany are very keen to work together, and also Chinese and German business as well. So we'll be very keen to see what ThyssenKrupp have to say as they're represented at that conference in Shanghai. Some very interesting things going to be going on. A lot to come from that conference and a lot to come from German and Chinese business cooperation there.
Absolutely, a lot to look forward to. Thanks so much, Peter. Peter Oliver joining me in Germany, and Zheng Chuiying joining me in downtown Beijing. Thank you both. You're now watching our special coverage of the opening ceremony of CIIE, China International Import Expo. Let's now take a short break. We'll be right back. Stick around.
A market with unlimited potential. A platform to connect 1.4 billion consumers. The China International Import Expo is back. Trend-setting products, state-of-the-art technologies, and innovative services. In an uncertain global economy, China's massive consumer market remains an anchor of stability. Join CGTN at the 5th CIIE as we show you how businesses around the world are seizing the vast opportunities presented by China's higher level opening up.
5 years running, it's the world's one and only International Import Expo at a national level.
Transforming from the world's factory to the world's market.
Expanding industries and providing opportunities for all.
A debut for global products.
Latest cutting-edge technology.
New generation.
Innovative services.
All in the financial hub, Shanghai.
CGTN takes you to the 5th China International Import Expo, where we are on the ground to show you the products of the future, China's opening up, and the trends of global trade.
Welcome back. In the last 4 years, the CIIE has become a major platform for international procurement, investment promotion, and cultural exchanges. Every year, Shanghai attracts thousands of exhibitors from China and globally to showcase their new products. Let's now take a quick look at the major achievements of the past 4 sessions.
The China International Import Expo is the first national-level import-themed professional trade fair in the world. Over the past 4 years, nearly 270,000 exhibits have been showcased, and more than 1,500 new products, technologies, and services unveiled. Each year's exhibition areas include food and agricultural products, automobiles, smart industry and information technology, consumer goods, medical equipment and health products, and trading services. As the number of exhibits continue to increase, the organizers have expanded the exhibition area. Compared with first CIIE in 2018, last year's exhibition area was 126,000 square meters larger. The fair has attracted thousands of exhibitors every year from more than 100 countries, regions, and international organizations. Global industry-leading companies have also been participating in the CIIE. Most of the Fortune 500 companies that have participated in the previous one have chosen to return to the next. A number of trade deals were signed during the previous 4 editions of CIIE. Deals for intended one-year purchase of goods and services totaled $270 billion from 2018 to 2021.
Let's get more on this. Mr. Li Yong is joining me in the studio. He's a senior fellow at China Association of International Trade. Welcome to our special coverage, Mr. Li.
Hi.
Now, thousands of businesses from 145 countries and regions are participating at this year's expo. And for a lot of business who are interested in doing business with China, this has become a sort of must-attend event, right? Tell us, what can the world expect from the expo?
I think probably we can look at it from 3 perspectives. More representation, for example, not just countries that previously participated, but also new countries. For example, 8 new countries.
Right.
Making their debut at this expo, and we can expect. Richer content, because the expo has been upgrading its coverage of products, technology, services, and so on. So I think the world can expect to see, for example, what new products, what new technology, what new, for example, new services are being launched for the first time. And the other one is, I think, the higher quality. Some of the companies are ready to launch their new generation, for example, products. And many of the new products that have been produced, but they are going to be launched here in China. It's because this platform has global influence and will receive naturally global attention. So this is very, I think the world can see where, what we can offer. And the other thing is, the new, I would say, new solutions. For example, the digital expo, which is different from the Internet expo. and they use augmented reality technology, to demonstrate different kinds of technology products and so on, as if, they are actually being, in the exhibition offline. So this is really about 300 companies are actually using this technology to really to show their products, the beauty of their design and so on.
Yeah, more advanced cutting-edge technologies. A lot of companies are debuting their services and products here. So much more exciting stuff to look forward to. But remember, this is the first national level expo worldwide dedicated to imports only. I mean, that's unprecedented before. So talk to us about a bit of context here. I mean, what came into consideration back then when China decided to host such an event?
I think first is I think it is the natural result of economic globalization, and in this process, China has become the second largest economy in the world and the #1 trading country in the world for quite a bit of time, and China need to demonstrate to this world that this is it is a responsible country. It is not just a country of global manufacturing or supplier to the world, but also a buyer of the world. And the purchase or the import from the world is also another contribution by China to the world economic growth, because those products can find no other market larger than China to really sell their products. And this is important. The second thing is, I think, China has been, has been opening up. And this is the policy that China has been keeping. It is part of China's commitment. And the opening up is not just open up to foreign investment, but also open up to the foreign products. So this is another reason. And the third reason, I think, would be, this is an important platform to really to improve, China's integration with the world in an organic way, not just, one way, but two way. And thirdly, this will create more opportunities, in terms of open cooperation.
As you were speaking, we were looking at live pictures coming from Shanghai, and the opening ceremony is about to begin in just a few minutes. The president is expected to deliver a speech there, but talking about this, what kind of message would you expect that the president would touch upon during his speech?
Yeah, I think his speech is basically, I think it is going to reflect the positions being stated in the 20th CPC Congress report, and I think it is going to really confirm China's commitment to expand opening up, and also China's position, for example, in terms of supporting multilateralism, supporting globalization, and China's attitudes, for example, against unilateralism, protectionism, and so on. So I think that is going to be the position. Last year,
you were there, right, attending
right,
the expo.
In his speech, he talked about 3 no changes. China will continue to open up, China continue to offer opportunities, et cetera, and also 4 firm commitments. Basically, I think we can expect consistent messages from his speech, and of course, I expect exciting new statement from his speech that will, I think, inject.
All right, I'm hearing words. Sorry to interrupt there. Now the opening ceremony of the CIIE is about to begin. Let's go live there. Remember, CIIE is an all-round sourcing platform where valued buyers will meet high-caliber suppliers And it does provide companies an opportunity to alleviate their business here in China. It has become a major gateway for global companies to get connected with the Chinese market. And this is the 5th International Import Expo China has ever held. And every year it just gets bigger and bigger, attracting more companies from more countries and regions to come, eyeing major business deals. You're now watching the live signal coming from the venue. The opening ceremony is about to begin momentarily. This is from the National Exhibition and Convention Center in Shanghai, a magnificent building resembling the shape of a clover. And the platform is going to provide a two-way channel for global companies to enter the Chinese market and Chinese enterprises also to seek international partners. Now, the official data has suggested that last year, the CIIE concluded with intended deals exceeding $70.2 billion US dollars. Pretty remarkable. Let's listen in now.
Secretary of the CPC Committee of the Shanghai Municipality, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and International Organizations, Your Excellencies, Diplomatic Envoys, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends. Good evening. Welcome to the 5th CIIE and Hongqiao International Economic Forum. I'd like to, on behalf of the organizing committee, heartfelt thanks to the governments of the participating countries, international organizations, and friends from all sectors, and a hearty welcome to participating guests, both online and in person. The 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China was successfully concluded. The important report made by General Secretary Xi Jinping at the Congress specified the major policies and the strategic arrangements for the development of the CPC and the country. It is a political declaration and program of action for the Communist Party of China to rally and lead the people in building a modern socialist country in all respects and realizing the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. The Congress has made full arrangements for high-level opening up and specified that China will provide new opportunities for the world with its own development. This year's CIIE is themed New Era, Shared Future, and it has special significance for countries to expand opening up and deepen cooperation. At this year's CIIE, President Xi Jinping will deliver remarks via video link. President Xi Jinping has delivered remarks at the CIIE for 5 consecutive years. And we are honored to be joined by Mr. Li Qiang, the member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee. We're also honored to be joined by President Wickramasinghe of Sri Lanka, President Ghazouani of Mauritania, President Nyusi of Mozambique, President Lukashenko of Belarus, President Ali of Guyana, Prime Minister Sugavale of Solomon Islands, Director General Okonjo Iweala of the WTO, Managing Director Georgieva of the IMF, Director General Mueller of UNIDO, 101 guests above the ministerial level from 82 countries and regions and international organizations will attend today's opening ceremony via video link. Diplomatic envoys, representatives of international organizations to China, and the leading officials of provinces and municipalities and ministries, and representatives of transnational companies, think tanks, and business associations are here with us today. This year's CIIE is participated by 145 countries, regions, and international organizations. 66 countries and 3 international organizations will participate in the country exhibition, and over 2,800 exhibitors from 127 countries and regions will participate in enterprise exhibition. And we have also opened an online exhibition. Over 400 new products, services, and technologies will make their debut. And during this year's CIIE, we will also host a high-level forum themed RCEP and higher-level opening up, and an exhibition of achievements of China over the past decade. And we hope that we could make good use of this year's CIIE to deepen exchanges and communication and achieve more outcomes of mutually beneficial cooperation. Now, join me in a warm round of applause for the remarks of President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China. Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, Your Excellencies, heads of international organizations, Your Excellencies, heads of delegations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good evening. I would like to extend, on behalf of the Chinese government and people, and also in my own name, a warm welcome and hearty greetings to all our guests attending the 5th China International Import Expo, CIIE. 5 years ago, I announced the decision to hold the CIIE for the very purpose of expanding China's opening up and turning our enormous market into enormous opportunities for the world. Today, the CIIE has become a showcase of China's new development paradigm, a platform for high-standard opening up, and a public good for the whole world. Openness is a key driving force behind the progress of human civilizations and an intrinsic path toward global prosperity and development. The world today is confronted with accelerated changes unseen in a century, as well as a sluggish economic recovery. We should commit ourselves to openness to meet development challenges, foster synergy for cooperation, build the momentum of innovation, and deliver benefits to all. We should steadily advance economic globalization, enhance every country's dynamism of growth, and provide all nations with greater and fairer access to the fruits of development. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, as the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China has underscored, China remains committed to the fundamental national policy of opening up to the outside world, pursues a mutually beneficial strategy of opening up, and adheres to the right course of economic globalization. We will amplify the interplay between domestic and international markets and resources, strive to create new opportunities for the world with our own development, and contribute our share to building an open global economy. China will work with all countries and all parties to share the opportunities in its vast market. We will step up efforts to cultivate a robust domestic market, upgrade trade in goods, develop new mechanisms for trade in services, and import more quality products. We will establish pilot zones for Silk Road e-commerce cooperation and build national demonstration zones for innovative development of trade and services, so as to encourage innovation in trade and promote high-quality Belt and Road cooperation. China will work with all countries and all parties to share the opportunities from its institutional opening up. We will steadily expand institutional opening up with regard to rules, regulations, management, and standards, put into full effect the new catalog of encouraged industries for foreign investment and further develop the national integrated demonstration zone for greater openness in the service sector. We will implement the strategy to upgrade pilot free trade areas, accelerate the Hainan Free Trade Port development, and tap into their role as pilot platforms for comprehensive reform and opening up. China will work with all countries and all parties to share the opportunities from deepened international cooperation. We will engage fully and deeply in WTO reform negotiations, promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation, and enhance international macroeconomic policy coordination with a view to jointly fostering new drivers for global growth. We will endeavor actively to join the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, CPTPP, and the Digital Economy Partnership Agreement, DEPA, to expand the globally oriented network of high-standard free trade areas. We will firmly support other developing countries and assist them in growing faster and promote the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, after endless mountains and rivers that leave doubt whether there's a path out, suddenly one encounters the shade of a willow, bright flowers, and a lovely village. As this ancient Chinese poem indicates, the path is unfolding before us and a brighter future beckons beyond. China is ready to work with all countries to practice true multilateralism, build more consensus for openness, jointly overcome the difficulties and challenges confronting global economic growth, and make sure that our commitment to openness will bring about broad prospects for global development. Thank you.
There you had it. That was Chinese President Xi Jinping delivering a keynote speech via video link at the opening ceremony of the CIIE, really emphasizing on China's strong commitment to continuous high-quality opening up. Let's break things down. Let me bring in Mr. Li Yong again, Senior Fellow at China Association of International Trade, and also Mr. William Spears, Chairman of Spearhead China via Skype. He's also an Executive Committee member of British Chamber of Commerce in China. Welcome to you both. But let me start with Mr. Li here with me in the Beijing studio. So we just both listened to the president's speech. What stand out to you the most? I mean, the word high quality opening up has been mentioned quite a few times, isn't it?
Yes, I think basically, as I said earlier, his speech reflected the basic positions being, I think, stated in the CPC Congress report. And of course, there's a highlight of that, that is the high quality opening up. And basically, I think that sentence really struck me. We create opportunities by our own development. I think this is very important. Actually, this is really the essence of the CIIE. China has a huge market. And through China, you can not just only reach the Chinese market, but also through this platform. That it is going to expand the company's global reach. So this is a very exciting point. The other thing is the high quality opening up that he mentioned, and they particularly emphasized institutional open up, specifically mentioned about the opening up of rules and regulation, management standards, and so on. Mm-hmm. So in that direction, I think it is. We are going to expect to see the opening up and the reform in that direction. Mm-hmm. That will provide a kind of a level playing field for foreign investment, and provide a lot of a stable mechanism, a lasting mechanism for foreign businesses, working with China. I mean, not just exporting to China, but also coming to China and invest.
Right, and now China is at a new stage of development, right? High quality development is going to ignite new growth opportunities elsewhere across the world. Let me also bring in Mr. Spears on this. Now, Mr. Spears, this year CIIE has drawn 284 of the world's Fortune 500 enterprises to showcase their products and services. What are the international exhibitors and industry giants hoping to gain from the Chinese market from your vantage point?
Well, I think it's very important to remember that President Xi was very, very long-sighted when he commenced the CIIE those 5 or 6 years ago. And so we've seen a continuity of investment, a continuity of relationships going on here in China and the outside world. And so what they're looking for, they're really looking to network, to meet people, to ensure that everyone wants to make money, of course, because that's the way it is. They want to meet people, get distributors, open the market, ensure that their brands are becoming, even better known, because everyone in China loves a brand. And of course, the good thing is it's the quality. President Xi mentioned quality, and I think Li Yong mentioned quality as well. Quality is really important because quality things last. If you don't have quality, you get short-termism. And President Xi is now looking for the long term, and with the long term, you definitely need quality. So I think the national exhibitors now are very, very happy to be here and to establish themselves even more with this opening up.
And Mr. Li, now the message from this expo to the world is, look, China want you here. If you want to do business, come here. And now internally, the message is that it's going to benefit consumers ultimately, right? Talk to us more about it.
Yes, I think consumers can really benefit from this expo because the expo brings in not just consumer products but also new technologies that will enable them to have a better life technologically, and there are also new type of services that will benefit Chinese consumers. So in the long run, I think it is going to be a kind of a constructive or organic interactions of the Chinese consumers with the companies coming to this platform to introduce their products, services, technologies. And more interestingly, this interaction will spur, for example, new innovations. A kind of a consumer-driven, market-driven innovation, and that will become the sources of new products, which will be built probably for the global consumers. So this is how I see. In short term, I think Chinese people, we have Chinese consumers. We have different kind of FTAs that will bring in products duty-free. So Chinese people can really have that, and this platform, can really show, the Chinese consumers what, else that they can really see with their physical eyes, and then they can really, enjoy the import of those products to improve their, quality of their life.
So by bringing these cutting-edge technologies, products into the Chinese market, it's going to in turn drive consumption upgrade and industrial upgrade locally as well.
Yes, especially for example, 15 medical device companies, 10 pharmaceutical companies, they are coming to China. Medical devices will improve people's health, and drug companies are going to bring in drugs that will remove, for example, persistent illness, whatever. So that, I think, is very important. Of course, there are other type of companies like automotive companies. All the top 10 auto companies are in here in China, and probably I think they are going to work with the Chinese auto, their counterparts, for example, to really introduce very exciting new generation vehicles.
Right.
So that I think is going to really bring a lot of new things. Right. Exciting things.
Now, we have some key points from the president's speech we want to play to our viewers, so let's take a look at this. Chinese President Xi Jinping has stressed the importance of openness. Let's hear what he had just said.
5 年前
5 years ago, I announced the holding of the China International Import Expo to expand opening up and make the big Chinese market a great opportunity for the world.
Now, the expo has become a window for creating a new development pattern, a platform for promoting high-standard opening up, and an international public good shared by the world. Openness is an important driving force for the advance of human civilization and the only way for global prosperity and development.
And now over to you, Mr. Spears, if you're still with me. Now, President Xi said China aims to play an active role in enhancing a global mechanism for economic cooperation, and we see increased participation of member states from the Belt and Road Initiative, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP. What kind of platform and business opportunities are China trying to provide here?
Well, I think, yet again, it's really important to remember how clever China is in actually creating these organizations or leading them, because it makes everyone feel wanted, if you wish, and part of the process. Now, with regard to the, I'm going to remember the name really, the one with the 10 countries, Russia, all of them, 10 of them, China, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and all the smaller countries in Asia, they have really sort of created, I suppose, this feeling of togetherness that allows them to trade and trust in trading with each other, which is really important. And of course, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization was started many, many years ago in 2002. And that has really led the way for other organizations to actually gather together and create more economic trade, more stability with the businesses between those countries. And I think as we go through this coming year, we will see a lot more, let's say, industrious ideas coming through that will make a big difference to the trade between those countries and China. And the important thing is to remember as well, of course, is that China is very stable within internally. It leads. It knows it's important to help the developing countries become more developed, if you wish. It's the most simple way to put it. But also it reciprocates as well, because those developing countries will obviously become more reliant on China, and then there's two-way trade between them, and the economies will become more entwined, and it will be very helpful to, as President Xi said, for the developing populations of those countries to have a far better life. And having a far better life means that the world, hopefully, will become more stable, because it's certainly not stable at the moment, unfortunately.
All right, appreciate your perspectives and insights. Mr. William Spears joining me there live via Skype, and Mr. Li Yong joining me here in our Beijing studio. Appreciate it. Now, for the past several years, Japan has been among the countries with the largest number of participants in the China International Import Expo. This year, more Japanese companies have decided to be part of this event and use this opportunity to expand their businesses in China. Wu Bin has more.
China is the world's second largest dairy market after the US and the world's largest importer of dairy products. Statistics show that the retail sales value of dairy products in China was about $61.2 billion last year, and is estimated to maintain steady growth and reach approximately $74.6 billion by 2025. The huge market is attracting many international brands to compete for their market share. And that includes a Japanese dairy company, who is making its debut at this year's China International Import Expo.
I came to work in Shanghai last May. I personally went to the expo last year, although Meiji didn't participate. There were many visitors, and the expo has attracted lots of attention around the world. So I felt Meiji must have its own booth at the expo.
Unlike many foreign dairy brands that focus purely on imports, the company continues to invest in China, constructing 3 new factories in Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Tianjin.
Construction of 3 factories at the same time is rare for Japanese companies. This shows how much we value the Chinese market. For milk and yogurt, safe, high-quality source products are very important, so we have also invested in some high-quality farms in China.
For the past 4 years, Japan has been among the countries with the largest number of participants in the CIIE. Most companies are from the food, agriculture, and healthcare sector. Some Japanese companies making their debut at the 5th CIIE are also from the healthcare sector. Yoshitaka Koketsu came to work in China this April. After receiving the invitation, he immediately decided to participate in the 5th CIIE.
The product of Sumitomo Pharma have been introduced in the Chinese market over 25 years. We hope to take this great opportunity of participation in CIIE to further enhance our corporate brand awareness in China.
China is now the second largest pharmaceutical market in the world. The company says China is one of the most important overseas markets, and it will continue to invest in China.
China's economy is highly resilient, and its pharmaceutical industry is booming. For island-based pharmaceutical companies, the business environment in China has changed dramatically over the past 10 years, and Chinese market has further demonstrated its charm.
Japan has been participating in the CIIE since 2018. Each year, about 300 to 400 companies take part, making Japan one of the top countries in terms of the scale and number of participants. Wu Bin, CGTN, Shanghai.
And with that, we come to the end of today's special coverage of the China International Import Expo. We'll bring you more on this in the coming week. We now want to leave you with a stunning night view from Shanghai. I'm Li Chen in Beijing. Thanks so much for watching. Up next is China 24.